So, Mr. Montgomery, can you share with us where you're from?
A little town in the delta of Mississippi called Louise. A town of probably a few hundred people, most of whom at that time were relatives.
And what's it near?
It's probably near Midnight, Belzoni, Diovalent, in that area.
Okay.
Greenwood.
Okay. And when did you come to Chicago?
In 1939 at age 7.
Age 7. And were you alone or was it with family?
Along with my older and younger brother.
Okay. And tell us about the reasons why you came here.
That's a good question. Years of my childhood, when I was about 5 or 6, my father disappeared one morning, and we were never really understood what happened. We got some story about his having stood by the little building by the railroad track, and when it passed, he jumped a freight train to Chicago. And that was a story we heard for years, and I never did pursue it. I later learned that my father had been working at a laundry in Yazoo City, and he would pick up the laundry and collect for the charges, and that he had been accused of stealing some of his boss's money. And so my uncle told me at his repast after he had passed away in '87 that in fact he told him since people were prejudiced down there, he wouldn't get a fair hearing. So he took him to Midnight, Mississippi, where he boarded a train to Chicago. And then subsequent to that time, he sent for my mom, and maybe about 3 months later, sent for the three sons, my brothers and I.
Wow.
And we were put on a train with green and brown jackets on, with a 3x5 card sewn onto our jackets that basically said, "This is James Montgomery. He's going to Chicago. He's going to be met at the 63rd Street station by his mother," with her name. So that's the why and wherefore that we got to Chicago and when.
And so it worked out fairly well, it seems.
We managed to get here safely, and we never went back.
But you've had a fairly distinguished life and career as a Chicagoan.
I would say so. We've had a pretty good life and a pretty good success. It was a struggle, like all struggles in America. If you're black, it's not easy.
Right. University of Illinois graduate.
Yes.
In what year?
1953 undergrad and 1956 law.
And you went on to a career as an attorney.
Yes, and continue to practice law in my 60th year.
Wow. And you actually served with Chicago's first African-American elected mayor, Harold Washington.
Absolutely. I was his corporation counsel for about 3 years.
Okay. And then after that, did you go back into the private sector?
Absolutely. I've been in private practice both before that time and since and after that time. I spent maybe in my career about 18, 20 months as an assistant U.S. attorney in my early years.
And in the probably last decade or two, you've had the pleasure of working at a firm named for a noted African-American attorney in America.
Yes, in 2000 I joined Johnny Cochran in the law firm of Cochran and Montgomery, and we worked together for the years up to his passing, and then with his partners thereafter for a time.
So you came to Chicago as a young child in pursuit of whatever goals and dreams and reasons that your family had, and it's worked out well as an immigrant from Mississippi.
It has.
Thank you for your time today. We appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure.